Hey everybody, Eric here for the Unlockables podcast, and before we begin this episode, I just want to give a special shout out to all the people who support the show over on Patreon. These incredible people are Chris from 1 Hour 1 Decision, Stephen Pay, Dave Jackson, Chris Copleen, Rick Firestone, Colby Moyer, Keith Gasper, Nikolai at Night, Mass Keaton, Ashton Ruby, Chris from A Novel Console, and Ryan from Listoff. I am eternally grateful for your guys' continued support for this creative endeavor and can never thank you enough. Now, on to today's episode. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Guiding Keys, the story of Kingdom Hearts, presented by the Unlockables podcast. My name is Eric. I am your host, your guide through the world of Kingdom Hearts and through the incredible mind of series creator and director Tetsuya Nomura. I'd like to thank you so much for tuning in, wherever, whenever in time and space you might be located. It means so much to me that you're willing to stop by and check out what is going on in the world of video games, in this case, the world of Kingdom Hearts. Now, you're probably a little bit surprised if you've seen the title episode. Last part of Kingdom Hearts II, we wrapped up the story of Kingdom Hearts II, having a pretty satisfactory and pretty good conclusion to this first trilogy of games overall. And you're probably wondering, well, Eric, you said you were only going to do 4 parts, and I remember saying that, kind of eating my own words now. I wanted to do what I did similarly at the end of Kingdom Hearts 1 and kind of run down all of the extra little stuff that you could do if you're looking to do a completionist run of the game. And I also wanted to do what I did during that episode as well by reading the Secret Ansem Reports, because I believe that they shed a little bit more light on the world of Kingdom Hearts and on the story of Kingdom Hearts 2 specifically, and how everything that was surrounding Ansem the Wise kind of led to the events that we see in these first 3 Kingdom Hearts games. I think it's very, very interesting. And I didn't want to just tack it on to the end of the last episode because I felt like it offered a very good conclusion where I ended that episode. So I decided to kind of do an epilogue here and just wrap up some of my last thoughts on Kingdom Hearts 2, because we are officially done with this game. It was a big one. I did not expect to do 5 parts. I didn't even expect to do 4 or 3 parts on this one, but it just kind of ballooned in size as my ambitions for this game and this series, Guiding Keys, have gotten bigger as more episodes have released. So I'm going to do a bit of an epilogue here, read some of the Ansem reports, and just go over some of the supplementary information that we find out in those reports, as well as talk about some of the secret boss battles, the loose ends, and some cool stuff that you can do after you beat the game. So without further ado, let's dive right into the Secret Ansem Reports. Secret Ansem's Report 1. My efforts these many years have come to fruition, with the world I govern having become a paradise worthy of being called Radiant Garden. Nurtured by the pure water that is the source of life, fragrant flowers bloom in abundance, and the people face each day with hopeful smiles. But where there is light, darkness also lurks, As noted in my earlier reports, I must solve the mystery of this darkness of the heart. The paradise depends on it. I shall perform an experiment to probe the depths of a person's heart. One of my own apprentices, Xehanort, has volunteered to be a subject. This young man has served me ever since I nursed him back from death's door some years ago. He had lost all his memories at the time, but later showed remarkable intellectual curiosity and readily absorbed my teachings, gaining deep wisdom. Any mental immaturity is surely due to his young age. If I explore Xehanort's heart with psychological tests, I may be able to recall the past locked away within. My apprentice Evan has also shown great interest in Xehanort's memories. But is he really the right subject? Xehanort does indeed exhibit extraordinary talents. Too extraordinary. Perhaps they are even superhuman. Secret Ansem's Report 2. I have made a grave mistake. My study of the darkness of the heart began with a simple psychological test and quickly snowballed. Spurred on by my youngest apprentice, Ienzo, I constructed a massive laboratory in the basement of my castle. Unbeknownst to me, my 6 apprentices then began collecting a large number of subjects on which to perform dangerous experiments into the darkness of the heart. As soon as I found out, I called my apprentices together and ordered them not only to cease their studies, but to destroy the results of their research thus far. What on earth was happening within the hearts of my 6 beloved apprentices? While pursuing the mystery of the darkness of the heart, could they themselves have strayed into its depths? Yet I remain the most foolish of all, for having begun these experiments. We are not meant to interfere in the depths of another's heart, no matter what our reasons for doing so, and my error plunged me into despair. A visitor from another world soothed my dejected soul. A tiny king named Mickey came wielding a legendary key, the infamous Keyblade, said to bring both chaos and prosperity to the world. He was very knowledgeable on many topics, and we deepened our friendship as we conversed companionably. Upon his advice, I decided to review the data obtained at my basement lab. That is when I discovered the Ansem Reports. Though they bore my name, the only one I had written was number 0. Apparently, he had gone on to pen numbers 1 through 8 himself. Yes, the first subject in my foolish experiments. Secret Ansem's Report 3. Chaos affects not only this world, but many other worlds besides. In the Ansem's Reports, my apprentice Xehanort had written under my name. I found the records of his hideous experiments along with his hypothesis about the door that had opened out of the darkness in my basement. All living things have hearts, and all hearts hold darkness deep within. Worlds are no exception. If a world is a being, the heart it holds must be colossal, and the darkness at its core must be monstrous indeed. Did Xehanort pass through that door in an attempt to contact that dark realm? No, not only Xehanort. It appears my other 5 apprentices, believing it was for the sake of research, stared deep into the darkness and were pulled into it. Evan, Ienzo, Bragg, Dylan, and Alice. They have ceased to be human. I too have had everything taken away from me, banished to a hollow realm of nothingness. What is Xehanort hoping to gain with my pilfered existence? Will my people cease to smile? If the light of hope has been extinguished, I shall henceforth walk with darkness as a friend, here in the realm of nothingness to which I have been relegated. Darkness in the midst of nothing. Darkness in 0. Thus I shall be known as Diz, discarding the stolen name Ansem, and going in search of revenge. Secret Ansem's Report 4. The distant days spent in that beautiful paradise are an illusion to me now. How long have I been here, banished to the realm of nothingness? It is only by relying upon my anger and hatred that I have been able to retain my sense of self here, where all existence is nullified. My heart is being overcome with hatred towards my apprentices, possessed by the darkness, and with the anger I feel for stupidly allowing myself to be betrayed. Is this darkness eating away at my heart? I cannot continue to idle away my time here. What are Xehanort and the others attempting to do? I must unravel the mystery of these Ansem's Reports, intercept my apprentices, and defeat them. That is my mission, the only way to repay the world for my sins. Those beings who lack hearts, the heartless, must be the key. The darkness of the heart made flesh. Cursed shadows who not only lack hearts, but multiply by seizing hearts from any and all living things. Where have they come from? And where are they going? 3 elements combine to create a life: a heart, a soul, and a body. But what of the soul and the body left behind when the heart is lost? When the soul leaves the body, its vessel, life gives way to death. But what about when the heart leaves? A being does not perish when its heart leaves its body. The heart alone disappears into the darkness. There is little time. If I remain in this realm much longer, I will certainly learn these answers the hard way. My heart is already a captive of darkness. Secret Ansem Report 5. In this realm where all existence has been disintegrated, I have just barely managed to preserve my sense of self by continuing to think and to write. It is a place where even time has lost all meaning. Eternity is but a moment here. I must make haste. Certainly their plans are already underway. The Heartless must be the key to unraveling this mystery. The 6 traitors were operating a laboratory that churned out those cursed shadows. Not only did they generate pureblood Heartless from living hearts, but they then used those Heartless to synthesize artificial versions of the creatures as well. These synthetic Heartless bore insignias and were called emblems. Pureblood or emblem, these Heartless act only to fulfill their instinctive needs. They single-mindedly detect hearts and swarm around them. A human's commands would be ineffective. The Heartless would easily steal the human's heart and use it to increase their own ranks. But what if an even stronger Heartless was giving the orders? If he cast aside his own soul and body and became a Heartless, wouldn't he be able to control the otherwise intractable Heartless? Furthermore, wouldn't he be planning to make use of the creature's instincts? If the heart-seeking Heartless have their sights set on a larger, more powerful heart, their ultimate goal is crystal clear: the largest heart in existence, the heart of all worlds. This is all conjecture, but it would seem he is utilizing the Heartless in his search for a path leading to the heart of the world. Secret Ansem Report 6. My choice to befriend the darkness here, in the midst of nothingness, was a sound one. The moment I stared straight ahead with a calm heart, neither rejecting darkness nor fearing it, I gained a newfound power, a superhuman power, the power of darkness. It is likely Xehanort and the others were enraptured by this power, eventually becoming its prisoners. I do not intend to allow my heart to be devoured by the darkness as they did, of course. With this new power, I uncovered a corridor of darkness that connects the realm of nothingness to the outside world. While it is still difficult to come and go as I please, my banishment is now a thing of the past. To deceive Xehanort and my apprentices, I first used my power to change form before returning to the realm of light. As I had suspected, Xehanort had become a Heartless. Under my name, he commanded other Heartless in quests to snatch away the hearts of many different worlds. At the center of the heart Xehanort has stolen was Kingdom Hearts, which attracts tremendous darkness to itself and attempts to send any and all matter back into its depths. The other 5 have disappeared. Have they become Heartless like Xehanort, or did they vanish after Xehanort exploited them? I became familiar with an unusual entity while pursuing the truth. It is the soul and body that remain when a being loses its heart. When a Heartless is born, these entities disappear from the realm of light, to be reborn as entirely new beings in a completely different realm. Secret Ansem Report 7. While beings born of darkness and those lacking hearts may find them convenient, it is dangerous for others to make much use of the corridors of darkness. Darkness erodes the heart. In search of a place to proceed with my research and planning away from prying eyes, I found myself in Twilight Town. It is a quiet village, forgotten in the chasm between light and darkness. I situated myself in the basement of an abandoned mansion, standing beyond the woods. My underground research resulted in one new discovery after another. When a Heartless is born, the body and soul left behind are reborn into this world as a different being. They possess different intentions than their Heartless brethren, and while it is unclear what these sentient things are after, it would appear they are responsible for much bedlam in the world. My erstwhile friend the king and his subjects, along with a hero wielding a keyblade, are battling the Heartless even as a new threat approaches. This new threat, They have given themselves a fitting name, I suppose. These non-beings, nobodies. A great number of nobodies have lost human form, as have the heartless. Yet the nobody born of someone with a strong heart retains its shape, with but the faintest visible changes. It appears my betrayers have retained their human forms as nobodies, and are gathering more followers in hopes of furthering a new scheme. Organization XIII, formed of 13 nobodies with my betrayers at its core, has divided into two. They are said to be carrying out some sort of research. Seeking to uncover the plans of this organization, I have decided to head for where 6 of its members have gathered, towering over the outer limits of the realm between darkness and light, Castle Oblivion. Secret Ansem's Report 8. It appears that I have been too distracted by the behavior of Xehanort and his cohorts and the events occurring in their vicinity. My friend's struggle to protect the realm of light from the threat of Heartless is now over, with Xehanort's Heartless, going by the name Ansem, Seeker of Darkness, defeated at last. The other wielder of the Keyblade, this hero, traveled from world to world, sealing up keyholes and laying Heartless low. Meanwhile, the king, who had dived into the realm of darkness, worked with the Keyblade-wielding hero to close the door to Kingdom Hearts from the realms of both darkness and light, thus holding off the threat of tremendous darkness. But there are still a great number of Heartless afoot, and Organization XIII and the Nobodies continue to be active in the shadows. Indeed, the world is still a very dangerous place. We must find a way to do battle with these enemies. Thus, I will both make amends and have my revenge. It is for this reason that I infiltrated Castle Oblivion. It consists of 13 floors above and 12 floors below ground, with the contents of its white rooms transforming in response to its visitors' memories. Organization XIII was conducting experiments on memory here. The subject in these experiments, a girl named Namine, appeared to possess extremely unusual abilities. Were they attempting to derive something from these powers? Refusing to be distracted by Organization XIII, I had returned to my own secret research when a new visitor appeared at the castle today. It was Sora, the Keyblade-wielding hero who had defeated Ansem and his companions. Deep underground, the stench of darkness arose. All the players are coming together, it would seem. Secret Ansem's Report 9. I should have expected nothing less from a Keyblade-wielding hero. Sora and friends defied the machinations of Organization XIII and rescued Namine. Namine was a witch who controlled the memories of others. Most likely these powers were achieved through a special process when she was born. Namine is a nobody, created when a young girl's heart left her body. Yet, she has no corresponding Heartless. This is because the young girl in this case was a princess. Kairi, a resident of Radiant Garden over which I had ruled, was one of the 7 princesses that uphold the realm of light. With no darkness in her heart, Kairi produced no Heartless, and instead of vanishing, her body remained in the realm of light. In other words, both the nobody called Namine and the Heartless, proof of a lost heart, are extremely unstable beings who lack the bodies needed to produce a nobody. Therefore, they also lack Kairi's memories. One reason for this may be that Kairi's heart did not return to the darkness when it separated from her body, but rather migrated to another vessel, deep within Sora's heart. That's it. Namine is an alter ego of the Kairi who has directly interfered with Sora's heart. Could this be why Sora and those hearts are connected to him were able to have their memories controlled? She is a non-being in the truest sense of the word, having not even become a nobody and with nowhere left to go. She is but the most fleeting of shadows. Secret Ansem's Report 10. Sora went to sleep in order to recover the memories he had lost in Castle Oblivion. It would take quite some time to bring back all the memories he had created in his lifetime, but Organization XIII held sway over Castle Oblivion. Sora would need to be kept someplace more secure. I persuaded Namine to move the slumbering Sora to Twilight Town for safekeeping. Namine, as I have written before, she is a most unusual being, born of the same process as a nobody, but lacking virtually all the elements of a nobody. Perhaps she continues drawing in hopes of capturing that which she lacks, the memories of others, especially Sora. I have arrived at a hypothesis. I believe that Naminé was born as a special type of nobody when Sora attacked himself with the Keyblade, causing his and Kairi's hearts to leave their bodies simultaneously. Naminé emerged as Kairi's nobody, but the body and soul necessary to exist as a nobody belonged to Sora. When a person's heart is stolen, a heartless is born with no sense of self, and the body and soul left behind give rise to a nobody. But what if one willingly releases one's heart from one's body? Sora and Xehanort retained their selfhood even after becoming heartless. Then there are Kairi and Naminé. Kairi was exceptional for having had no darkness within her heart. Also exceptional was that her heart, once freed, migrated to a new vessel, Sora. The combination of the two theoretically unlikely exceptions may be behind this anomaly. There are matters I must attend to while Sora is sleeping. A new ally has appeared on the scene, Riku. Secret Ansem's Report 11. I was reunited with an old friend at Castle Oblivion, but was unable to disclose my identity. If he knew the situation, he would likely try to stop me from carrying out my revenge. As much as I would dearly love to converse with him as in the old days, that is now but a hopeless dream. My friend has been fighting in the realm of darkness. Most likely he found his way there through Traverse Town. Like Castle Oblivion, that village also rests in the cleft between light and dark. It consists of the remnants of worlds whose hearts have been stolen by the heartless. It is where those who have barely escaped the destruction of their worlds eventually find themselves. This realm between is quite unstable, with corridors of darkness appearing from time to time. Whenever a world disappears, some of its inhabitants must arrive here through these corridors. Surely Sora traveled these same corridors of darkness when he first came to Traverse Town. It seems my friend, fighting in the realm of darkness, appeared in Castle Oblivion through a corridor of darkness constructed by Organization XIII. My new ally Riku also effected his return via one of these corridors. He swore to me he would give his all for his best friend Sora. In fact, Sora's memories have been slow to return. Thus I have asked Riku to bring me another Sora, his nobody. Sora is indispensable if I'm to achieve my goal. I require the Keyblade-wielding hero to fly through the realm of light and defeat Organization XIII. Secret Ansem's Report 12. Apart from Naminé, nobody's retained their memories of their time as humans, but Sora's nobody, Roxas, has lost Sora's memories. This is likely because Sora's time as a Heartless was short, having recovered his heart and returned to his human form soon after leaving behind Roxas, his nobody. It would seem Roxas is much like Naminé. Naminé is Kairi's nobody, but came into being via Sora's body and soul. Likewise, Roxas is Sora's nobody, but was left behind because Sora's Heartless regained human form using Kairi's heart instead of his own. It may be that Sora's memories are slow to return because the half of him that is Roxas is still lacking. I must convert Roxas into data and return him to Sora. As a member of Organization XIII, it was exceedingly difficult to bring Roxas in. Having lost to Roxas once, Riku laid everything on the line and used the power of darkness in their second battle, only just managing to bring Roxas back with him. But Organization XIII grows ever nearer. Here, Twilight Town is where Roxas was reborn as a nobody. This is where Roxas first encountered Organization XIII and joined its ranks. They are bound to search this place thoroughly. First, I shall convert all of Twilight Town into data and construct a world duplicate in Sora's memories. I shall place Roxas within that world to live out his days and regain those memories. There is little time. The organization's schemes must be making steady progress as well. Secret Ansem's Report 13. Tomorrow, Sora awakens. My long and drawn-out revenge is nearing its end. Xehanort, who took everything away from me, though as a Heartless he is no more, as the leader of Organization XIII, his ambition once again is to capture Kingdom Hearts, the most colossal heart of all. His Heartless had attempted to draw out the great darkness of Kingdom Hearts, created from the hearts of all worlds. His nobody, however, is now almost finished gathering human hearts to be assimilated into Kingdom Hearts as well. The fool. Only one mystery remains. How did Xehanort manage to open the door that appeared in the basement of my castle? No, any theory posited now when everything is nearing completion, would be meaningless. Roxas, Ansem, Naminé, they defy all logic, yet there they are, singular exceptions to the rule. The theories proposed by me and by Organization XIII have been blown to pieces by a handful of strong-hearted individuals. Sora, Kairi, Riku. Ah yes, Riku. Though his heart has its weaknesses, making it prone to darkness, he found support in the hope he discovered beyond suffering. This hope allowed him to stand his ground and turn the darkness in his heart from an enemy into his greatest weapon. When all of this is over, it is my fervent hope that he will be able to return with Sora to his island. If I can, I should like to return to Radiant Garden, to look once more upon the beautiful water, the lovely flowers, and the hopeful smiles of the people. Dear King, my friend, I believe that at some point in time you will come across these, my truthful accounts. How I wish I could have chatted with you again. I was a fool, obsessed with revenge. Forgive me. I really, really love the inclusion of the Ansem reports and the Secret Ansem reports. They shed a lot of light on, they just give you a bit more detail about the things that are happening in the Kingdom Hearts world and lend a little more explanation to them. You could play the entire game of Kingdom Hearts 2, not read them, and come away with a slightly altered understanding of the story of the game. It's also kind of cool because there's almost like these parallel narratives running. Kingdom Hearts would have you believe that the plot with Sora is the main plot, but this subplot with Ansem's research and the betrayal of Xehanort is a fascinating hidden plot, and it is critical to the upcoming games that we will discuss. Here we see the writings of Ansem the Wise as he enacts his plans for revenge against the organization made up of his former apprentices, Xehanort, Evan, Ienzo, Dylan, Braig, and Alis, who we know as their nobody forms Xemnas, Vexen, Zexion, Zaldin, Zigbar, and Lexius. He also kind of touches on the nature of Roxas and Naminé as nobodies, whose very existence, or lack thereof, since nobodies can technically not exist, is unique even among the nobodies, given that Kairi was a princess of light who could not turn into a Heartless, and that Sora turned into a Heartless for such a short amount of time, and that, unlike all other nobodies who retain their looks and memories, Roxas and Naminé look drastically different from Sora and Kairi, and did not retain their memories of their past lives. Roxas and Naminé being the sole nobody exceptions to the rule. As we'll see later in the series, everybody in the organization that turned into a nobody maintained what they looked like with slight changes, basically, from their human form to their nobody form. Roxas looks drastically different than Sora, with blonde spiky hair instead of dark brown hair. Same thing with Naminé, with her blonde hair. I think this is an interesting point, and this will come up and be even more important as we get into one of the most pivotal games in the series, Birth by Sleep, but we're not quite there yet. I don't really feel like I need to elaborate on anything in these secret reports. I feel like this writing does a pretty good job of explaining everything that was going on. Why Ansem did the things that he did, why he called himself Diz, how he escaped when Xehanort exiled him to the realm of nothingness, the way that he enacted his plans of revenge, the way that he's kind of had a hand in influencing the direction that these Kingdom Hearts games have gone. And ultimately is a result of his research that affected the lives of Sora, Riku, and Kairi and unleashed this great calamity across the worlds. And while that's said in game, you don't really understand the magnitude of it unless you read these Secret Ansem reports. And sure enough, Ansem confirms in these reports what I said in Kingdom Hearts 1 and what I've kind of been saying as I reference the reports through Kingdom Hearts 2. The Ansem reports seem like they were written by two different people, and sure enough, he confirms after he wrote the first one, Xehanort penned all of the other ones, or most of the other ones, underneath Ansem's name. And Ansem the Wise, realizing as soon as his apprentices are taking basically human sacrifices to perform experiments on, he puts a stop to it immediately, but they've already gone too far. Xehanort exiles him. Xehanort turns himself into a Heartless, thus creating a nobody so that nobody Xehanort can work on summoning Kingdom Hearts constructing Kingdom Hearts from the hearts of humans via the Heartless, and Ansem Xehanort can try to find Kingdom Hearts via commanding the Heartless. Like Ansem said, humans can't command the Heartless. Only people with strong ties to the darkness can. And so a higher Heartless, such as Ansem Seeker of Darkness, would be able to do this. And Ansem Seeker of Darkness, as a Heartless, retains his sense of self because he willingly transformed himself. Sora maintains his sense of self as a Heartless because he willingly transformed himself. And because of the unique bond he had with Kairi, carrying around Kairi's heart with him for all of Kingdom Hearts 1, when he stabs himself with the Dark Keyblade to free Kairi's heart and return it to her, and he turns into a Heartless, it's such a unique set of circumstances that when Naminé, the Nobody, is born, and when Roxas, the Nobody, is born, they look completely different, and they don't have memories of their past lives because of this complex relationship between Sora and Kairi. All right, a couple other loose ends that we can tie up here. First of all, let's get to some bonus boss fights. Of course, the one you've all been waiting for, the one-winged angel himself, the menace of Final Fantasy VII. You can fight Sephiroth once again for the second time in the series. You get a secret boss battle against this legendary villain, a fight that is even more intense the second time, because Kingdom Hearts 2's speed and ferocity is ratcheted way up. He has similar move sets to a lot of the stuff he can do in Kingdom Hearts 1, but it's basically dialed up to 11, and he's way faster. He has super wicked fast combos. He can summon meteors. He flies around and teleports around the stage. He can do his Sin Harvest move where he takes away, maybe it's not called Sin Harvest anymore, maybe it's called Heartless Angel, I don't know, but it takes away all your health and MP except one. It is an incredible challenge. And when you defeat Sephiroth, you get a scene where Cloud shows up and Cloud and Sephiroth clash with one another. We've kind of had that subplot running underneath the story during the Battle of Hollow Bash, and Sephiroth was looking for Cloud, all this stuff. They finally get a chance to fight here. And as they fight, they engage in this fierce battle where they're flying all around, and as they raise into the sky higher, they disappear in a flash of light. And it's here that we get one more scene with Tifa. She arrives and explains that they went back to their world to finish their battle. And you get one last Keyblade here. You get the Fenrir Keyblade, which is a really badass looking Keyblade. The next boss fight is a secret boss fight in the vein of that mysterious figure that we fought in Kingdom Hearts 1 and is known only as the Lingering Will. Probably the most fearsome fight in the game, one of the pinnacle challenges in not only Kingdom Hearts 2, but in the entire series. The Lingering Will has a reputation for absolute mind-numbing brutality, and it is a absolutely frightening encounter. You return to Disney Castle to find a portal in the throne room, and when you go through the portal, you find yourself teleported to a desolate wasteland. You see a figure in a suit of armor kneeling down with what looks like a wicked Keyblade laid out in front of him. And as you approach, it begins to speak words that are inaudible to you. They just sound like whispers of wind, and you wouldn't even know what they're saying if not for text on the screen. And I'll read them out to you here as in quotations. Aqua? Ven? After saying this, Sora summons his Keyblade, and the armored entity responds, "A Keyblade? Who are you?" "I know you. We've met before way back when." "No, that wasn't you. You're not the one I chose. Where is he?" Xehanort. "Is that you?" Xehanort. Xehanort, the figure yells as the suit of armor slowly rises to its feet, pulling its wicked-looking Keyblade from the ground. And this fight is, there is no margin for error here. even if you're level 99, even if your stats are boosted, the Lingering Will shred you. He is fast, he has AoE attacks, he has blaster attacks. It would just absolutely, there's zero. The Lingering Will is the ultimate test of all of Kingdom Hearts systems. In the way that you were able to button mash through most of the battles, the Lingering Will is a true test of your understanding of the way the systems of Kingdom Hearts work. And you can defeat him, and I have beaten him before. It is something I never wish to do ever again. When you defeat this armored entity, it speaks once more. That's it. Your power. That is what I felt within you. And after saying this, the armored figure returns to its kneeling position and speaks no more. Interesting fight, to be sure. And the second brief instance in this game where we have seen a suit of armor, or an individual in a suit of armor with a keyblade. The first being when Xemnas entered what Xigbar called the Chamber of Repose during the Battle of Hollow Bastion. The suit of armor and the keyblade were lying on the ground, and Xemnas addressed it as friend. What does it mean? Apart from the secret ending to Kingdom Hearts 2, which I'm not sharing on these episodes because nothing is really said there. It's just a very action-oriented cinematic, and I don't feel like I could adequately describe it in words. You can go watch it if you want to, because it deals a little bit more with these suited armor figures. Outside of that, we don't have any more information on this specific plot thread. So again, Kingdom Hearts has a storied history of including secret boss fights that allude to events that happen in the future. It's a very, very cool thing that they do. It's something I love very much. And the Lingering Will is probably one of the most infamous bosses, not only in the Kingdom Hearts series, but I'd be willing to bet in almost all of JRPGs, RPGs, action RPGs. It is a true test of skill. The next thing you can do is you can access a very high-level area in Hollow Bastion, aka Radiant Garden, known as the Cavern of Remembrance. It is a high-level area that appears after the Battle of Hollow Bastion in a damaged part of the castle that is uncovered during the battle. This is a test of all your skills, as enemies here are much higher level than your standard enemies, and it is a test of all of your abilities, requiring leveled up skills from your drive forms such as glide, high jump, aerial dodge. You need these completely leveled up, and to advance into the different sections of the cavern, there are tests using these skills and these abilities that you have to pass before you enter into the deeper into the cavern. At the end of the cavern, you reach a room with 13 portals, one for each member of Organization XIII, and this is your reward for the difficult level. And this is a final mix inclusion only. It is here that you can fight what is known as the Data Organization XIII. They are data replica copies that basically allow you to refight all of the members of Organization XIII. And this is one of the coolest fucking things in this game. You get to, that's right. You get to fight all 13 members of Organization XIII in the Kingdom Hearts 2 engine, including Roxas, including the ones that you beat in Chain of Memories, Marluxia, Larxene, Vexen. Everybody here has a reimagined boss fight for the Data Organization fights, and it is so cool. It is one of the most incredible things that they could have included in this game. All of these fights are so much harder than their original Organization counterparts. They're so much more difficult, even if you're at max level of 99, even if you have the ultimate weapon, even if you have all your stats maxed out. And this represents another one of the pinnacle challenges of Kingdom Hearts 2. It's a final mix inclusion. It's doesn't serve anything narratively. It's just a cool challenge Easter egg that they threw in for the final mix version. It's so awesome. Couple other things you can do. Obviously, there's the Moogle synthesis completion. There's a lengthy synthesis list this time around. It's probably double or triple the size of the one from Kingdom Hearts 1. This includes the hunt for the ultimate weapon, as well as Donald and Goofy's best weapons, Save the Queen and Save the King, respectively. Shout out to those Final Fantasy references. And this isn't as annoying. Synthesis materials are much easier to come by in this game. There's a couple that you have to play some mini games with what are known as the Mushroom Organization Heartless. They're the Mushroom Heartless from Kingdom Hearts 1, but they wear the black coats and they have like mini games associated with them. But they're not that difficult. Gummy ship missions. Each gummy ship path has like several missions attached to it, whether it's a score, whether it's a medal, whether it's like survivability. There's like a couple of different missions for each one. And in order to achieve the platinum trophy for this game, you have to S rank all of them. And that can be quite a pain in the ass. Coliseum tournaments return, except this time they're hosted in the underworld on Hades turf. And there are like 8 or 9 different tournaments. There's the standard tournaments and there's the Paradox Cup tournaments, which are like harder variants of those tournaments. And each tournament kind of has like a gimmick associated with it. Like one has reduced drive gauge consumption, so you can use more drive forms. One has like reduced summon gauge consumption, so you can use more summons to help you get through the battles. One has reduced MP consumption when you're using limits, so you can use a lot more limits. So it's just gimmicks like that kind of change the flow of each tournament. Which is pretty cool. The last kind of thing you do is you can complete Jiminy's journal, and when you complete a section, you get a Mickey Mouse like icon by it, signifying that you've completed it. This includes various mini games, visiting the Winnie the Pooh and Atlantica optional worlds, which I did not purposely talk about because I fucking hate them. Just Winnie the Pooh's just annoying, and they turned Atlantica into this like wannabe rhythm mini game where everybody is singing these cringy ass songs, and I hate it so much. You unfortunately have to do Atlantica because you get a synthesis material that you need to make the ultimate weapon, and it's just, oh god, it's horrible. It's horrible. I don't know if I'll torture you with like a 15-second sample. Out of everything in all these games, I hate Kingdom Hearts 2 Atlantica the most. Fuck that world. And that's really everything I wanted to cover. That kind of brings us to the conclusion of Kingdom Hearts 2, and I think this epilogue is a nice way to wrap up this game that I've spent 5 parts talking about. But I think before we go, we need to do what we did with Kingdom Hearts 1 and Chain of Memories and discuss lingering plot threads. Now, a lot of plot threads that were extending through Kingdom Hearts 1 and Chain of Memories get tied up rather nicely here in Kingdom Hearts 2. The first 3 games actually make a really nice trilogy. If they ended this part of the Kingdom Hearts story with Kingdom Hearts 2, this trio of stories with 1, Chain of Memories, and 2 tells a really nice, succinct story, and I don't think it's beyond understanding. It's only when we move past this and continue the game out from Kingdom Hearts 2 that things start to get really, really complicated. This trilogy is an incredible story in its own, but like I said, we know this isn't the case. There are way more games to cover, way more things to come, and a story that gets much, much denser. So this is what we know right now. At the very end of the credits of Kingdom Hearts 2, Sora, Riku, and Kairi get a letter from the king that they read at the end of the credits, but we don't know what the contents of that letter are. We'll have to wait to discover what King Mickey's letter says to them. It ends in a similar way, too, of Kingdom Hearts 1, where they catch up to Pluto, who's carrying a letter from King Mickey. So God bless King Mickey for throwing that plot thread out so that the series can continue. Other than that, the only overarching plot threads we currently have are thanks to the final mix inclusions. The most obvious one that doesn't get a lot of screen time, but is the one that is probably the most prevalent, is who are these armored individuals? We fought one in the Lingering Will, and Xemnas spoke to one of the empty suits of armor in the Chamber of Repose. So they're clearly Keyblade wielders, but what role do they play? And if you've managed to keep up with the things I've been telling you and the things I've been saying to pay attention to, could they be the Keyblade warriors of old who unleashed a spectacular battle, as Xigbar alluded to in his conversation with Zexion? That is the only other reference that we get of past or other Keyblade wielders outside of Sora, Riku, and Mickey. So that's an interesting thing that might come into play later in the series. Speaking of our good friend Xigbar, of all of the other members of the organization, other than Xemnas, he seems to know a bit more about what is going on than the others. He definitely knew more than he let on. And now that he's gone, seemingly defeated by Sora, do these scenes have any significance? It seemed that he even had knowledge of things that were happening outside of the organization. Like maybe if the organization had the big picture, maybe Xigbar had the bigger picture. I don't know. We'll have to see if we uncover anything more about what Xigbar may or may not have known. The saga of Ansem the Wise and his apprentices seems to have been wrapped up here. There's only one thing that we kind of don't have a very clear answer on. In his reports, Ansem the Wise mentions finding the young man Xehanort unconscious and lacking memories, and Ansem nurses him back to health, and he becomes an apprentice underneath Ansem, and Ansem does tests on his heart to see if he can get him to reawaken his memories. We don't know who Xehanort was before Ansem found him, or why he's missing his memories. And one thing kind of related to that too is we know that the apprentices of Ansem the Wise started the organization, but we don't know too much about the non-Ansem apprentice members of the organization. So Axel, Cyax, Marluxia, Larxene, some of these other ones, we don't know much about them. And we kind of get a feeling that, there's nothing in Kingdom Hearts is done without having an extended story attached to it. So it's very strange for half the organization to have importance as Ansem's apprentice and the other half to just not have the same importance. It's very, very interesting. So we'll have to see as the series progresses if we learn any more about their backstory. And we might, but those questions will have to wait. We'll get more information on the organization actually in the game following Kingdom Hearts II. After Kingdom Hearts 2, we have two of the more interesting games in the series. We'll get to spend a little more time with Roxas and learn about his time in Organization XIII in Kingdom Hearts 358 over 2 days. And during the events of Kingdom Hearts Recoded, we'll unravel the mysteries that have been uncovered in Jiminy's journals, as there's still a few lingering plot threads related to that, and to that note, which simply reads, "Thank Naminé." But that is where we are going to leave our discussion of Kingdom Hearts 2. And guys, I just want to say, all of Guiding Keys has been a personal journey for me so far, and I'm very humbled, and it makes me feel a lot of emotions at the success that this series has had on my podcast. This is by far the most successful thing I've ever done on my podcast. And it's just touching that so many of you want to hear me kind of explain and recount this story that means so much to me, because the story in this game is I can't even begin to describe how it makes me feel and what it means to me. So the fact that you've been there supporting me throughout this has been phenomenal. And Kingdom Hearts 2 really, I think, showed me what the true potential of Guiding Keys is of this series that I've been doing. And like I said, I had no intentions of doing 5 episodes on Kingdom Hearts 2. I wanted to be as thorough as possible for this game and give this game as much love as I possibly could. And if I would have tried to do this in any less episodes, each of those episodes would have been 2.5, 3 hours long. And I just felt like that's so much time to ask from you guys to listen to my insane Kingdom Hearts ramblings that I decided to kind of space things out a little more, spend a little bit more time fleshing out the Kingdom Hearts side of the story and making sure I'm connecting the plot threads properly back to the previous games. So this has just been a journey. And like you've heard me say, Kingdom Hearts 2 is my favorite game of all time. And doing this game was an emotional journey. I learned things about it that I didn't know in doing research for the podcast. And when I finished, I still felt all the emotions that I felt every other time that I finished this game, and just confirm that this is a game that I love more than any other. And for you guys to say such nice things to me about it, it's truly humbling, and my heart thanks you guys, because every time I put out one of these episodes, anytime I put out any podcast episode, I think it's awful. And I have a lot of self-esteem issues around the things that I create. And I truly sometimes don't believe you guys when you say nice things to me. I just be like, oh yeah, whatever. You're just being nice to a random Midwest kid who's just rambling about this weird Disney Square Enix game. But, you know, I really do appreciate you guys giving me support. And this has been an incredible journey. 47 pages of notes, 25,000 words, hours and hours, maybe probably 10, 15, 20 hours editing these episodes, trying to make sure I have all the cutscenes, to get those converted into audio, to make sure those are spaced out properly without in the episode, to selecting the music. It's such these episodes have been more work than any podcast episodes I've ever done, honestly. And usually my editing turnaround is like 2 to 3 days. I can get something turned around, a day or two if I really sit down and, you know, put the pedal to the metal. These episodes will sometimes take a week, 2 weeks to edit, just to kind of line everything up, just because of how much work I was putting into them. And that's one of the reasons that I was switching to 2 episodes a month for the foreseeable future until I kind of get re-caught up, because this series, especially Kingdom Hearts 2, took so much time and so much effort. I think now that Kingdom Hearts 2 is done, we'll be able to 358 over 2 days and Recoded should be less parts, should be less time, just because they're smaller games. They're a little bit more intimate. They tell an intimate story. I don't have to worry about the gigantic mythos of Kingdom Hearts. But once we get past those games, it's going to get a lot more difficult. Birth by Sleep is a pivotal game in the series and has a lot of interesting history around it. The mobile game, I know you guys laugh at me when I say it's mobile game, but the mobile game has some of the most important lore tidbits in it for the continuation of the series in Kingdom Hearts 4. So I'm trying to figure out a responsible way to do that and manage my time. But you guys have been excellent. And I really do truly thank you all from the bottom of my heart for the kind words that you've said, for the feedback, for the questions, for the enthusiasm. It's truly blown me away. And I would have ended Guiding Keys after Kingdom Hearts 1, but the response I got was huge and gave me the motivation to want to keep doing this. And I wasn't sure when I first did it how people would respond to it, because, you know, it's Kingdom Hearts, but people seem to like it, and I just can't say thank you enough. So I'm going to stop rambling there. We have come to the end of Kingdom Hearts 2. We will continue our journey in 358 over 2 days and Recoded. But for now, we're going to sign off and leave our trio of heroes on the beach of Destiny Island with a letter from King Mickey to see where they will be going next. And I'll leave you with the customary greeting. It's not just the story of video games, it is the story of you. And as always, may your heart be your guiding key.